Hello guys, so today we're gonna be talking about the latest update on the border measures that is happening on Japan. So as things stand, is that the new restriction is happening in which they are going to ease the border, but they're going to ease the border slowly and surely. So they will be easing for November application. So basically, from what I understand, COE that has been issued between April or before April 20 of 2020 would be getting would be able to apply through the school. So your school have to apply for the rights, I think, to apply for the visa. So once the school have the rights, then you can apply for a visa. So there are two separate things in which, from what I understand, you have to contact the school to get the application for the school to apply. So once the school got the green light, then the school will apply your visa, and your visa will be basically done by your school. So I don't think you can apply by yourself. And then for April 2020 till October 2020 of your COE issuance date, you can apply at December. So in November, you are not able to apply their visa. But from October 2020 to April of 2021, in January of 2022, you can apply for your visa. And from April 2022 and April 2021 onwards of COE issuance date, you are you are being left without any clue on whether you are or on when you are going to be able to apply your visa, which is freaking nonsense, to be honest. As from some of the polls is that from the April of 2020 to October of 2020, so basically before October 2020 and until October 2020 or the whole 2020, there is less student than the after April 2021 COE issuance date, which means that this thing should be able to be moved for like this. How does I rephrase it? So this should not be taking so long, but then the government loves to make these things much longer by adding screening certificate, which means that school need to apply for 2 weeks, and then after that you have to apply for, basically from what I heard, it can be 2 weeks, but it can be up to 1 month or maybe 2 months. From what I heard, could be also possible. But then, so which means that easing of travel for students and technical intern would be like, I would say, easing, but at the same time they're not easing at the same time. So from what I understand, this is a problem, as because some people have been waiting to enter Japan, and this system proves to be a little bit unfair for some of us who has been waiting for 3 months or 6 months to enter Japan, because we don't have any exact date on when we are going to enter Japan, or when we are even able to apply for visa, because basically we are left in the dark. And then what's worse is that, from what I heard from some travel agencies, that they will allow tourists and students to be getting visas and going in as simultaneously, which means that it frustrates lots of people, especially. And from what I do know is that a lot of people are giving up to go to Japan to study because they're struggling to wait for any another month or another, even another days. That's the problem. So lots of people move towards South Korea instead of studying Japan so that they could be let in by the government. And the problem comes when this system is being put in place. From what I would say is that this system is not anywhere near as sustainable as good as what the government might think. One of the reason will be is that for me, I would see is that the government they would let 5,000 people in each day. I would think so. Is that and there is 370,000 people waiting on. Out of that, I would students is around 140,000 from what I heard around that number. But from what I would assume it be is that since last year in October it got open for a while until January and then get closed again, which means that the number of people stuck in 2020, which with 2020 COE, would be much less than what they would expect. Basically, what Japan would expect would be for the 2020 student would be abundant. But then, what's the reality is that this would create a massive traffic. I would say people in backlog. I would say traffic because the pile up in the April 2021 onwards, and basically the whole 2021 will be massive, and it will cause problems after problems for Japan. As basically, if they were to open the floodgate, people come rushing in applying visa here and there, which means that the government would not be able to control this hellhole. Well, if it would just remove the system and just to let people openly letting people apply their visa, at least it is still controlled because it can be controlled because at least we know that within this month, next month, 3 months later, at least people can still apply. Like it's not like November this certain group apply, in December this certain group apply, and then suddenly in January and February a massive bunch of people applying, causing pressure and problems for the government to control this situation. And when this COVID increased again in Japan due to uncontrollable pile up and increase in the amount of people wanted to go in, then it creates a border shutdown again. So basically, what is the risk of this system is that the border to be shut down again in around maybe 2022 early, and that's what we don't want. So that's why we are fighting to really remove this system. Like this system should not be in place at all, especially when a lot of people are starting to give up to go to Japan. That's the red flag, I would say. And another important thing is that the business worker and couples, and I don't know whether couples, but I would assume couples would be also included. So business worker, someone who connected with Japanese people, I would say. I don't know. And then also special exception, if you can tell. So basically, what they would be saying is that if we are not a DJ, then or basically any like what you call like who would you say like artists, famous person like Keanu Reeves, let's just say. then you would not be able to enter then you would be able to enter Japan. But other than that, you're being told to fuck off like that. Basically, what I would say. So athletes, singer, anyone can go in, but us as a student can't go in. Especially when they allow tons of people going in during Olympic 90K. And then, but for students, they are scared. So what is this? What are we as a student then? That's the problem. What are we as a student? We know that business workers are being let business and workers would assume they are let in easily, while students are being treated like they're pile of shit, I'd say, basically, or criminals, I'd say. And this problem would be showing why the government is very much a clown, I'd say, basically, or the whole circus. And where the students are us, basically, in a never ending loop of cycle of problems and things. Uh, and I would feel very depressed these couple of days because of this problem. But then I hope that this coming week they would remove the system. But then of course I would what the government can what can the government do for this? I mean they're still using facts. Today they have a press conference and it was all bunch of nonsense talking about it feels like I was in a stand-up comedy watching people making jokes instead of being officials like that. No change, not everything just same. They just reiterate every single thing as they would say, and I laugh at how some of them just slept during the conference. I'd say, but yeah, I mean now I do feel still feeling down, a bit depressed. But what can I do? So yeah, we are still going to fight for it, especially when they treat us like that. And I do heard that we can basically what you would call that basically just sue the government for this nonsense. I mean I would like to know if there's someone who can help in doing this, but I do feel like I'm just tired of even making this much more of a problem. I'd rather just fight for it through Twitter like that rather than just doing these suing things. Maybe other who is a lawyer or who have connection to lawyer can do it, but I'm just tired of it. So yeah, I mean that's it for now, guys. I'm still very down, but I'm gonna cope with it for now. And see you guys next time. Bye bye.